Coming up from our 11th and last Masters of the FIBA 3x3 World Tour 2019 season in beautiful Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, as we visit this historic country for the first time. We chat with Lyon's Raphael Giamo, who takes us outside the court and into his tattoo parlor in France. Jean-Anne Musa's American player Sheldon Bailey talks about his passion for acting, which includes memorably once being LeBron James' body double. And we sit down with Alvin Pasaola Balanga Chooks to Go, who reminisces about his heroics at the Doha Masters earlier this year. Plus, we got a can't miss top 5 plays of the tournament. It's quick, it's epic, it's Olympic. Welcome to the world of FIBA 3x3 basketball, a game played with non-stop music on a half court between two teams of 3 players aiming to hit 21 points before 10 minutes of game time is up. Previously at the FIBA 3x3 World Tour, we crowned new champs in Nanjing, with Edmonton finally getting over the hump. After beating world number 2 Riga in the semis, the Canadians were too good for Shake Gubale of Lithuania in the final, with sharpshooter Steve Sir getting his first MVP. Can Shake Gubale and Riga rebound in Jeddah? Or maybe powerhouse Lehman can get a confidence-building win before the season-ending Utsunomiya final? Speaking of the finale in Japan, plenty of desperate teams, including host Jeddah, can still qualify for 3x3's biggest prize with a strong showing in Saudi Arabia. So who's it gonna be? Let's find out. After falling short in Nanjing and without superstar Carlos Lasmanis for the rest of the year, Riga were on a mission like Tom Cruise. They wanted to start with a W against Balanga Chooks, who had beaten them, remember, earlier at the Doha Masters. Without Lasmanis, Norris Miezis wore his Batman suit to get Riga rolling early, but Alvin Pasao splashed one from the Red Sea to keep things close. Miezis ensured there would be no Filipino upset this time around to lead a 7-0 run. He had more tricks than Michael Hicks as Riga cruised to a 22-11 dub. Riga made it a perfect day 1 against Lyon, with Agnes Chavar straight fooling the D. The Frenchmen had their own fun though, with Raphael Giamo throwing it down. That is until Miezis took things over. The new Cape Crusader was hotter than the Arabian Peninsula as Riga won well under the time limit. Playing in their 11th Masters of the season, Lehman showed they still had more energy than MC squared after an impressive day 1. The tour's leading scorer, Mihailo Vasquez, delivered like a postman as Lehman jumped out to an early 8-0 start. The Vasquez show continued, and Alexander Radkov even joined in on the action, as Lehman won comfortably, well under the time limit. Lehman were hot favorites against Jean-Anne Musa, but the Koreans surprised with an early 5-1 lead as Rodrigue Benson made a statement. Vasquez had a rare, quiet game, but Radkov took things over with his fancy footwork and then showed off some of his range to highlight a 10-0 Lehman run. Stefan Kojic then attacked the rim, and this was a wrap. Shake Gubale had been one of the hottest teams on the World Tour and showed why against number 5 seeds Ulaanbaatar MMC Energy. Marius Ujupa started with a 2-piece, but Dogun Inkbot kept the Mongolians in the contest with a tough finish at the rim. But this was all about the lethal lefty. Uzi was cruising on the drive, and then my man started splashing from Lithuania. Ujupas finished with 12 points to lead Shake Gubale's victory. They continued to terrorize Mongolia with a straightforward win over Taikar ARA ADM. Paulus Belavicius had the juice early and then shared like he cared to Artius Bukalis for the smash. Bukalis took things over and was strong on the defensive end too, before finishing it off with the dagger. Shake Gubale advanced to the quarters with a 20-14 dub. This meant two Mongolian teams would square off for a place in the quarterfinals, and predictably, this one was a classic. Ulaanbaatar MMC Energy came back from a 13-6 hole to send it to OT when Dolgun Inkbot hit a two-piece. Serengunbayar Gotov was the hero though in the extra time with a Tissot buzzer beater as Ulaanbaatar kept their World Tour final hopes alive. Host Jeddah needed a victory over Tokyo Dime to advance. Kevin Core provided some early breathing space while Simon Ardouche was cleaning things up like the housemaid as Jeddah won before the time limit, much to the relief of the crowd. Some of those fans came from the American International School and the Faisal Zaid Sports Park, two places Team Jeddah took time to visit before the event. Day one was action-packed with 7 of the top 8 seeds making it through. Number 12 seeds Lyon qualified, while number 7 seeds Tokyo Dime bowed out. Taikar, ARA ADM unlikely exited. Balagachooks and Shion Anmuso also eliminated. Raphael Giamo is a wrecking ball for the French team Lyon, who have started to make an impact on the World Tour. The big man is easily recognizable through his tattoos, which have special meaning for him. Giamo started playing ball at a very young age. The 29-year-old has enjoyed the physicality of 3x3, where he can flex his muscles on the game.
When you play 5-on-5, you gotta adapt to the group and don't be yourself. I just try to be myself as a basketball player, you know, like play free and you can be yourself, you can do what you want to do on the court. Of course, like your teammates gonna scream on you sometimes, but it's a tough game too. I like to play tough, I like not play dirty, but it's a main sport and I really like it.
Running a tattoo parlor in France, Giamo ensures he can combine both of his passions.
When you start getting into it, you got to go 100%. Like you can't just say, no, I do that, I do that. No, I want to go 100%. So I start to get people working for me right now so I can be free for like the next season.
Lyon have started to make an impression on the World Tour this year, but are set to make an even bigger impression next season with more continuity.
We start to know how to play together and use our strengths, our size. And I'm kind of slower than the other guys, but the other guys still tall and quick. They can move really fast. So I think our strength is coming from our physics, you know, but we start to get a chemistry, so we will see how it works.
Ink on his skin is a way of life for Giamo, who sports several eye-catching tattoos.
I made my first tattoo when I was 15 years old, and then I just started to make more and more. And I've been friends with the tattoo artist who made my left arms, and he keep all the money I give to him to pay me all my tools, you know, and just teach me all the tattoos, and I didn't even ask him, you know. So it just came like a normal process for me. My next tattoo, whew, that's a lot to do. Maybe my daughter's face on that part of the chest because my parents is here. So we will see like when I do it. Probably when the basketball season is done, because it's pretty difficult to get tattoo when we play basketball at the same time.
All right, so here's a look at your quarterfinal bracket, which features 5 European teams and 3 from Asia, including host Jeddah. First off, Jeddah was hoping to continue their momentum against number 1 seeds Riga Ghetto. They started well with Khalid Abdel-Gabbar swishing the Sweet J, but Agnes Chavars went to work inside to get Riga Ghetto rolling. Pretty passing capped a 7-0 run, which silenced the crowd. Airtime from Abdel-Gabbar briefly revived Jeddah. That was before Norris Miezes put his foot down. My man splashed from Jeddah's waterfront to seal Riga Ghetto's spot in the semifinals. And Jeddah now need Utsunomiya to lose before the semifinals or Ulaanbaatar MMC Energy to lose in the quarterfinals to stamp their ticket to the World Tour final. Montreal Masters champ Shaki Gubale were hot favorites against Utsunomiya, who they had never lost to, by the way. And Aurelius Pukalis continued to bully him. But this game had more twists than It Chapter 2. Daisuke Kobayashi splashed from the logo and continued to have more range than Wi-Fi. Buckets seemed to be hard to find, so Marius Ujupas pulled out the Uzi, but the Lithuanians couldn't pull away somehow. Bukalis found an easy way to score, but was matched by Dusan Popovic. The Japanese continued to edge ahead, with Popovic setting up Marko Milakovic, who then hit the two-piece. With 1 minute to go, Bukalis cut it to 1 in the dying seconds, but Shaka Gubale missed 2 game-tying chances, and the number 8 seeds had achieved the impossible. Utsunomiya made it through to the quarters in one of the biggest upsets of the season. Could Ulaanbaatar MMC Energy continue the upsets against number 2 seed Lehman? They needed to if they wanted to qualify to the Utsunomiya final, but Lehman didn't give them a chance. Stefan Kojic got them going, and the Serbs were unstoppable in the paint to start things off with a 6-0 run. Would the real Ulaanbaatar please stand up? Delgurnyam Davasambu tried, but the Mongolians were overwhelmed by the clinical Lehman. Scoring machine Mihailo Vasquez played bully ball, but was just as effective from deep. Fittingly, Maxim Kovacevic finished things off with a two-piece as Lehman won easily, 21-8, and well under the time limit. Ulaanbaatar MMC Energy seconds in here, and Jeddah fans can celebrate. Their favorite team is going to the World Tour Final. Saskatoon Masters winners Piran faced surprise package Lyon, who made it through as the 12th seeds. But with the stakes raised, the class of Piran overwhelmed the Frenchmen. Simon Finsgaard, aka the Sphinx, put the moves on, and the Slovenians made an early statement. Rafael Giamo was a wrecking ball to give Lyon some hope, but it was time for Gaspar Ovnik, aka the teacher, to conduct yet another lesson. School continued to be in session when the teacher threw this ridiculous dime, and the Sphinx joined the party with a dish leading to a swish. Piran scored 9 straight points and didn't take their foot off the pedal. Finsgaard went bang bang before Ovnik rang the bell, and Lyon was a done deal. The shootout contest. This is the moment we crown the best sniper in the entire tournament. The steamy conditions made records tough to break, but Jiayang Zhang from Jing'an SSLC started well to set the pace. He coolly hit the final money ball to bump his score up to 8. Qian'an Muso's Xiangjung Li had a sweet stroke to match those pretty kicks. He needed 1 money ball to tie and converted on his final attempt. Final shooter, Singunbayar Goto from Ulaanbaatar MMC Energy, looked headed for the title with a strong third rack getting him to 8 points. But he went colder than Siberia when it mattered most, and we had a 3-way tie. Due to his quicker time, Jiayang Zhang is your Jeddah Masters shootout winner. American Sheldon Bailey is the man in the middle for Korean team Xian'an Muso, but he's not just your standard baller, with the big man also having a passion for the arts. His love for hoops started at a young age before traveling all over the world as a professional player.
I played in the CBA, played in the USBL for the Brooklyn Kings, then I went to Ecuador. That was my first international job. Played in China, played in Uruguay, played in Taiwan, competed in Red Bull competitions around the world.
The high-flying Bailey is a dominant presence on O and D to have characteristics well-suited for 3x3, and was looking to play the game ever since he followed his buddy Dan Brady's on the World Tour.
I think my game is suited pretty well for the game. I have a versatile game, and so I've actually been looking forward to competing in the FIBA 3x3. My buddy Dan plays on Princeton, so I've been watching him over the last couple of years. It's kind of like, dang, I wish I could be in Brazil. I wish I could be these places, because I know I had the ability to do it, but I didn't have necessarily the situation to make it happen. So this is that situation. I'm happy.
Off the court, Bailey dabbles in acting, where he once memorably played LeBron James' body double in a nod to his own basketball talents.
I have been really honored to be associated with a player, a person of that magnitude. I learned a lot on set, observing LeBron and his team. For somebody who I know that I have really good basketball talent, but maybe didn't fulfill certain potentials in the game, to me, it is a bit of a validation. And especially for me to have done it for, a span of about 11 years, is a testament to my basketball playing ability.
Joey, why they have to come and blow you?
Bailey's range of talents extends to another one of his passions, poetry.
I am a poet. Yeah, spoken word artist. It was cool because we were in Korea recently and I was able to do some poetry in Korea. I put out 2 albums of music. They're all online. One is called Golden Eagle and one is called Crazy Joey. But that's one of my special talents and things that I'm really passionate about.
Shell Bailey.
It's time for Jeddah to rock with an absolutely loaded slam dunk competition, pitting 2 of the best in the business, Ukrainians Vadim Miller-Potapchenko and Dmitry Smooth Kravchenko. But this wasn't just a 2-horse race, with David Carlos of the Philippines and local favorite Masad Gadi rounding out a fearsome 4. The 2 favorites got through to the semis with dunks worthy of the final. Miller had more 10s than an ATM when he threw down a one-handed punch over a volunteer. But Smooth responded with his signature through the legs, one-handed, off the bounce nastiness. Carlos and Gotti had to make way, but had their moment to shine. Carlos walked the air to fly over 4 volunteers, while Gotti rocked from side to side in a dunk more beautiful than Mecca. It was a battle of Ukraine, but with the spotlight shining brightest, just look at your watch. It's Miller time. Potapchenko stole his rival's nickname and threw down the smoothest one-handed punch to win over the judges. Then came his signature, through the legs dunk as he continued the masterful performance. In good sportsmanship, Miller helped out his bro with a beautiful lob that Smooth finished off with more creativity than Bansky. Teamwork making the dream work. When did they practice that? But a goose egg on Smooth's final dunk proved fatal, and Miller sealed the title with a 360 double pump off the bouncy. After claiming his 9th Masters title, Vadim Miller-Potapchenko takes home the $2,500 check. All right, so we got the top 3 seeds still left, with the final 4 rounded out by surprise package number 8 seeds, Utsunomiya. Riga Ghetto hoped to end Utsunomiya's magical run, but the Japanese came out confident, with Daisuke Kobayashi splashing things left and right, and Dusan Popovic hitting the bucket after the bump. Now remember, if the Japanese team wins the game, they get the last ticket to qualify to the World Tour Final on their home court. There was no need to panic for Riga Ghetto though, as Norris Miezis found his groove, and so did sharpshooter Edgar's Krumans. Miezis had his superpowers switched on as Riga Ghetto broke the game open with a 10-1 run. Popovic hit back on the outside and then the inside as well to keep Utsunomiya in it, but they forgot to play D, and Riga Ghetto made them pay. After being contained, Kobayashi rose like his pink sneakers in French, but Artur Strelniks had the sharpshooter's touch to call ball game. Riga Ghetto make it to their 5th final of the season, and Utsunomiya players will have to follow the World Tour Final from the bleachers.
Thanks to Carlis, because now I can maybe have 6-pack after this sweating. Hell of a weather you have guys here.
Number 2 and number 3 seeds Lehman and Piran had looked unstoppable in Jeddah, but there could be only one winner, and it was Stefan Kojic and Mihailo Vasquez making it rain in the desert. Needing a response, Gaspar Ovnik, aka The Teacher, taught some lessons like Hilary Swank in Freedom Riders and inspired young gun Milan Kovacevic to go to school. but Piran couldn't stop Kojic from deep. My man had more fakes than Leo and Catch Me If You Can as Lehman went on a run. Double dipped from Maxim Kovacevic blew the margin out, and there was no stopping the Serbs. Lehman won comfortably, 21-15, and qualified for their fourth final of the year.
You guys provide us energy when we need it the most, and I'm thankful for that. Thank you a lot!
Alvin Pasao became a Filipino legend when he sealed Balaga Chuk's spot in the Doha Masters quarterfinals with a Tissot buzzer beater against Moscow Inanomo. It was the perfect start of the season for Pasao, who has loved playing himself some 3x3.
This is the first year I played 3x3, but in my heart, hopefully next year or more than years, I played 3x3. 3x3 is so beautiful, beautiful basketball.
Pasao will never ever forget that unforgettable night in Doha where he produced magic in OT.
In the first tournament in Doha, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of Filipinos supporting us. We go to the qualifinals, then without expecting that, they show the heart of Filipino. Puso showed by Filipinos, like heart. No matter what, win or lose, can fight till the buzzer end, and that's why Puso is me.
Balaga Chuks have not been able to recapture the heights of Doha, but the future still looks bright for this squad.
We started the campaign this year, but we expand more for our journey to be part of 3x3. If we're not qualified in this year, maybe next year for the Tokyo Olympics, but right now is the right time. One last push to us, for the Filipino fans.
After his heroics on the world tour, Pasao has become a role model for 3x3 in Hoops Mad Philippines and everywhere a Filipino soul lives, as he found out when he visited the International Philippine School in Jeddah before the event.
I know a lot of kids watching us in the Philippines. I would tell to them, don't be afraid to do whatever it takes. Grow up, and play basketball, and also play 3x3.
Riga Ghetto and Lehman met for the third time in a final this season, with honors split previously. This had more hype than Summer Walker's new album, and it started with a bang with Norris Miezis unstoppable early. Lehman had their own bucket getter though, with Mihailo Vasquez scoring inside, but Miezis was playing at a whole different level. He did Maxim Kovacevic so dirty and then crossed like he was in church. But Lehman turned slick passing into buckets, and they had a 3-point lead when Alexander Ratkov splashed one. Miezis answered back though, and this classic just had to go to the wire. Edgar's crewmans found holes in the D to give Riga Ghetto an 18-17 lead. This was before Miezis showed he's still the baddest superhero of them all. In the absence of Las Manas, Robin suited up and put on the Batman costume. A filthy pass set up Agnes Tavares, and Miezis then switched gears on the Batmobile to finish things off with the sickest exclamation point you can imagine. Riga Ghetto win it 21-18 and claim their third Masters title of the season. Norris Miezis gets MVP and would get another surprise after the day. The Latvian star became the new #1 3x3 player in the world.
Take us to that last shot that won the game.
I don't remember. I just go into basket and score it, that's all.
That man Miezis was a man possessed. His body was spinning. I'm surprised his head wasn't spinning.
First off, at #5, you better not get that man no room. Otherwise, Daniel Bailey's gonna throw it down on you. At #4, Mathna Alamarwani says, "We don't want you here, fam." Third on the list, Christian Gunawan is sending his application in for Dancing with the Stars Indonesia with this gorgeous spin move and the left-handed finish. At number 2, Palace Balavicius avoids eye contact like a shy 4th grader. The no-look dime to Aurelius Pukalis. Taking out the top spot. We ain't like the teacher this much since Michelle Pfeiffer in Dangerous Minds. It's Gasper Obnick with the unacademic dime to Seaman Finsgaard. All right, so the Masters are over with. It's time for the serious games to begin with the World Tour's 12 best teams slugging it out in Utsunomiya for our final in Japan. That's coming up November 2nd and 3rd. Novi Sad, Riga Ghetto, Lehman, Piran, New York Harlem, Princeton, Edmonton, Shake-Gubale, Amsterdam, Zamoon, Jeddah, and Lausanne are all in the running for 3x3's biggest prize. It's gonna be lit. Remember, you can follow it live with the hashtag 3x3WT on FIBA 3x3 social media channels on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.